Definition, a multiple. A multiple of a number is when you multiply, and I'm putting multiply in quotes because it's called a multiple. The reason it's called a multiple is because you multiply. That's why it's named that. When you multiply this number by any whole number. Whole number. In other words, another way to say this is you count by that number. So let me write that down. You'll understand why in a second. I'm going to put in quotations here. You count by that number. All of you learned a long time ago, how do you count by twos? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, right? You're doing multiples. That's what multiples are, is when you start counting by the number, the base number that you have. How do you count by threes? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You're basically adding one more multiple each time you get the different number. How do you count by fours? 4, 8, 12, and you go on and on and on. You keep adding on that number. How do you count by fives? 5, 10, 15, 20. Each time you get a new multiple, you're just adding 5 more. That's all a multiple is, because each time you're multiplying it by a whole number. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here with something that you understand. So, the number 2. If you want to find the multiples of the number 2, then, well, let's just talk about it. Let's count by twos. Let's find the multiples. The multiples are equal to counting by twos. So let's start at 0. You always start at 0. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So you already know how to count by twos. You just didn't really know that it was called multiples necessarily. Why is it called multiples? Because the first number in this list is 2 times 0. The second number in this list is 2 times 1. The third number in the list is 2 times 2. 2 times 3. 2 times 4. 2 times 5. 2 times 6. So what am I doing here, you might say? Well, here, the base number that I'm counting by, or that I'm trying to find the multiple of, is the first number here. It's always 2. But each time I find the next number in the sequence, I'm just multiplying it by a whole number. So here I'm multiplying by 0, here I'm multiplying by 1, here I'm multiplying by 2, I'm multiplying by 3, I'm multiplying by 4, I'm multiplying by 5, I'm multiplying by 6. Multiply, multiply, multiply. That is why you're getting multiples. So sometimes people confuse factor and multiple because they're taught generally at the same time. Multiple, you need to think of multiplication. Okay? Getting a list of numbers, they get bigger and bigger and bigger because each time you're just multiplying the base number by a bigger and bigger number, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can get a large, infinitely large set of multiples, whereas factoring is completely different. You're going to get a single list of numbers that are factors of a number, but when you get the multiples, you can go on and on and on getting as many multiples as you want, because all you're doing is taking the base number and getting more and more numbers in the sequence by multiplying by a whole number. So that's what the definition means. A multiple of a number, this number, is when you multiply this number, this guy, by any whole number. It's kind of a hard to read definition, but basically you take the base number, you multiply it by something, and then you're getting a new multiple.